Okay, Liza Jane. Well, I've got a gal that you don't know, little Liza Jane. She's at home in Baltimore, little Liza Jane. Hey, little Liza Jane. Hey, little Liza Jane. I got a house in Baltimore, little Liza Jane. Gonna take the rug up off the floor, little Liza Jane. Hey, little Liza. Hey, little Liza. Oh, Liza come from the posies grow, little Liza Jane. The chickens playing around her door, little Liza Jane. Hey, little Liza. Hey, little Liza Jane. Hey, little Liza. Hey, little Liza. Hey, little Liza. Hey, little Liza Jane. There's a fellow in West Virginia named Max Samples who for years and years and years played with a band called the Samples Brothers. And as many times as I saw them play, they would close their show with little Liza Jane. And first they'd get up there and Mac himself would sing it at the top of his lungs. And then near the end of the song, he would take his fiddle and he would hold it out like this, and he would flat-foot dance on the stage or in front of the stage, depending, holding his fiddle and his bow, and sometimes he'd fiddle and flat-foot at the same time, and sometimes he'd sing and fiddle at the same time. All of that, Max Samples. That's pretty much, when I play that tune, I think of that man. So this is the Strum II class for the Fort New Salem Dulcimer Festival. And in Strum I, we learned a lot of techniques. We learned how to take the pick, instead of just going across the strings this way, we broke that rhythm beat up into 4 parts, and we called them Boma Chinga. And so if I was just playing something simply, I would do, that's boom ching. Or else I could do boom ching a boom ching a boom ching a boom ching a. Or else I can do boom a ching a boom a ching a boom a ching a boom a ching a. And we looked at that in detail in the Strum I class, and you can see it on the Strum I video with close-ups of my hand doing that. We also talked about using the right hand to damp the strings. To varying degrees. And I want to make a comment about right hand damping. It can be just a little bit more interesting than simply putting your hands on the strings. Sometimes when we're playing in this style, you get tired of hearing this note. Not so much with this particular dulcimer because it's not as bass heavy as some of the dulcimers I have. But you really are torturing that string a lot. And if you don't want it to poke out so loud, you can have your hand back behind the bridge but curl your fingers around and just touch that string while you're playing. So it takes some coordination to learn how, okay, we're doing our strum and we're reaching behind and sort of lightly touching that string like this. That's the idea. So you can practice that. But the main thing is, sometimes I did that. Sometimes I did this kind of damping during what I just showed you. I went. And also from the previous strum class, you just heard me do chocolate. That's chocolate, chocolate is good. So that's the drag, drag, up, drag, drag, up. That. Okay. Now I want to go through the bare bones of Little Liza Jane so we can get it into everybody's head, and you've got it down so you can play it without going and looking at tab. Okay. So we're going to do it with just a straight out, simple, forward going strum. Okay. Something like that. We're not strumming in with this, and the reason is our melody note is on our thumb, and we don't want the melody note to be an afterthought in the strum. We want it out front. This style of playing the dulcimer is particularly punchy with the melody, which is what I strive for. Okay, now let's go through Little Liza Jane. It's got two parts, but they're easy to remember. Okay, the first part is just this. So what is that? That is 2 0 1 0 2 0 1 0 2 4 2 4 2 0 1 0 2 0 1 0 2 2 1 0. Okay? Okay. So that's the A part. The B part starts on the 7th fret with just a strum, and then goes to 4, and then 5, and then 4, and then 2, 4, 2, 4 again. And then the next time in the B part, it's 2, 1, 0, just like the end of the first part. So now I'll play the whole thing through. That's the A part. Here's the B part. Now this is really a dance tune. It's a flat footing tune. And so we need a rhythm that we can dance to, okay? And it's that same boma-chinga rhythm. Boma-chinga, 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 boma-chinga. That's what will get people's feet moving. So we just played it like it was a funeral, okay? It's not a funeral, this tune. This tune is crazy. Lots and lots of words. Lots and lots of fun, lots and lots of yelling. People sing, "Hey, little Liza," at the top of their lungs when they play this tune. So that means we have to get the boma-chinga going. And so let's think about boma-chinga. So I'm doing the whole strum each time. Boma-chinga, 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 boma-chinga. But the ching has a different set of notes than the bum. I'm going back and forth between the 1 note and the 2 note, first the 2, and I'm doing the bama and then the chinga with my finger off, and then the bama, chinga, like that. Bama, chinga, tuna, chinga, bama, chinga, bama, chinga, so on. That's the idea, how we open that tune. And then we're going. So I'm actually doing a little more of a strum here. Because what we want is da 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 da. So I'm really playing those notes. Instead of just doing the bum ching, I'm just doing the whole strum. So what you really hear there is chinga 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 chinga. That's how I'm doing that. Chinga, 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 chinga. Playing the whole thing just to get that sound. So, okay, I could just be doing bumma, 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 but I want the whole full sound. There you go. So instead of doing bummas, we could just do bumma, but it doesn't sound as full. That's why. Now, in order to get that speed, you just have to get that right hand bumma chinga going, and there's no doubt about it, and it takes a lot of practice to get that. So this is not an easy video. You just have to get to the point where you can. But once you get that thing right there up to speed, people's feet will start to move when you're playing. Now we'll do the B part. The B part starts on the 7th fret. You could slide to it, but we don't need to do that right now. We'll start here. That's our melody. Now what are we going to do with it? That's a bumma chinga to start it off. So it's bumma chinga, bumma chinga, bumma chinga, ton chinga. That's one way to do it. The other is just chinga, chinga, chinga. We'll go with bumma chingas. Bumma chinga, bumma chinga, bumma chinga, bumma chinga. And there you want a little rest. You want to rest there. Okay, so we're just going to strum it and let it run. Here we go. And I do put just a bum ching without the fancy bumma chinga. I just put a bum ching there. So, how do you decide? I want a ching here, I want bumma chinga, I don't want bumma chinga, I just want a bum ching. How do you decide? Which one of these strums to play where? The answer is both very easy and it's hard. There is no right way. Okay? The key to playing this kind of music is you have to have this song as part of your DNA, and then you play what feels right, okay, as though you were the dancer, okay, or whatever you're doing, as though you're the one doing it to this music, and then make the music sound like you want it to sound. And if you do that a while, you will get very good at it, okay? If you force yourself to look at paper and try to read the tab to learn this music, you may never get to the point that you would be able to move your feet to it. So the key thing here is tab's very useful to learn initially a melody. And then you wrap the rhythm around it in a way that makes it feel right to your body and makes it feel right to your chest. And that's when you'll get to loving the music, really, when you can feel it in here. Okay? So we've gone through the song now. Let's play it. I'll play it one more time. That's the basic little Liza Jane song. I want to talk about some other things that are associated with the rhythm that will add to your playing. And I'm sure most of you have heard the term pull-offs and hammer-ons. Okay, I use them constantly in my playing, and I use them really as rhythmic tricks. And this song is a very good example. This part right here of the beginning has a tendency to get boring. But what happens if we put our finger on there and pull it off? And then put it here and pull it off. Just try doing that. So now listen to what I can get with it. That spices that up, doesn't it? So that's using a pull-off as a rhythm trick. It's not really doing anything different in the melody. We're just doing that, but we're doing... So I'm hitting that note, I'm pulling it off to that note, and then I'm hitting it. You could sit there and practice that. There's the idea right there. Keep it going. Make a point to you. Notice that when you're doing that B part, and you have to slide down there to the 2 fret and back to the 4. We could do that another way. We could say 7, 7, 4, 5, 4, and then reach over on the middle string, 5th fret, because that's the same note as the 1st string, 2nd fret. So there's the 5th fret. Watch that. It's a whole lot easier. I'm not even moving my middle finger, and I can kind of get a chord there. So I'm going 7, 7, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, where that was on the middle string. And that's how it ends. Or you could go 5, 5, 4, 3 on the middle one. Now that's a different idea, and that can save an awful lot of trouble when you're playing a tune, because when things get very fast, it's hard to move the linear distance. There's some songs that are very much like that. Whiskey Before Breakfast, with that tune, the way people really play it, if you try to play that tune without moving across the fingerboard at all, it's an exercise like chopping wood. Okay. I also want to talk about a little improvisation with this tune, because there are other things that we can do with this. When you listen to a fiddle player play almost any fiddle tune, it doesn't look like it does in the basic Dulcimer tab. Okay? Fiddlers will always have many other notes. And you start wondering, where do those notes come from? Because when you sit and you listen to the tune, you listen to this tune, Little Liza Jane, you'll have our melody, our standard melody in your head, but there'll be a lot more going on with it. And you ask yourself, well, what if I decide to step out and do some of that other stuff myself? Okay, there's no law against it. So what can you do? In many cases, you can reach a full step above the note you're headed to and a half step below the note you're headed to get to the note you're headed to, okay? And in many cases, we don't have the half step below, but we do have the full step above. So if I was going to the 4th fret, I could do it by going 3, 5, 4, instead of just going 4. See, there's your half step below, your full step above, and there. But we generally, because there's so many double lines here, that we don't have all the half steps. We just have a full step, a half step, full step, and then up here. But we won't worry about that. We'll just see what we can do with just using the full step above the note. So here's an example of what we could do. Now that's an interesting twist to Little Liza Jane. I got a gal, she's about half grown. So instead of just doing, I'm going 2, 4, 5, 2, 4. When you do things like that, it's called ornamentation. Okay? It's not really the tune, but it doesn't break the tune. So here we'll put that in. Here's an example of an ornament that I have stuck into this. that maybe a fiddle player. I think I have heard fiddle players do exactly with that with that melody. I'll give you another example. This, in the front of the B part, can get very dull. And then we're here. Okay? And you can say, well, why are we sitting there? Maybe we could make it more interesting by putting some cross-picking, some chocolate there. So I did chocolate, chocolate is good. So what I want to do in this time is I'm going to go to this note here. It's the 9th fret. That's another example, and this is just exactly how you work this out. You just figure it out. So you put your finger here and you say, what could I throw in there? You just see what happens if I do that. So here we are, we're going to play the tune. Now, okay, and so that's just an example. We could take that note and throw it in there. You're probably not going to find that in any tab. So we've added two things. We've added that piece, and we've just added this for the B part. We've added this note. Just gone up one. It's ornamentation. There's lots of other things I could do in this tune for ornamentation, but that's an example of two. Okay, you could use this one again. Right in the B part, right there. 2, 4, 5, 2, 4. So it's the same thing I did in the A part. See? It's another ornament. So these are things that you can just take your dulcimer, sit by yourself and say, okay, now that I've learned Liza Jane, let's make it more interesting. In case that doesn't cut it. I've got one more ornament. Okay, in case you decide even with the pull-out, the dead front is too boring. So here's the one more ornament. I'm saying 2, 0, 1, 0, 2, 4, 1, 0. And then I'm going my 2, 4, 5, 2, 4. So this is all the same tune. So, we've just done a lot with Little Liza Jane. And what we basically did was use our same strumming techniques that we used in Strum 1. And then we took the tune Little Liza Jane and added these ornaments. Okay? You still have the cross-picking available to you. You still have the just strumming across available to you. You still have bom ching available to you. You have bomachinga available to you. And you have pull-offs. All of these things that you get to control. There is no right way. And if there is a right way, I certainly don't do it. Because every time I play this song, it'll be a little different. But if the dancers were dancing to it, and I do have friends that flatfoot to my playing sometimes, they will not mind that I've added these ornamentations as long as I don't screw up the rhythm. If I screw up the rhythm, they could fall on their face, okay? They'll try to figure out what you just did, but their feet won't work with what I'm doing, and they'll try to tune you out quick, okay? All right, let's play the whole tune again. There you are. So what we've covered is playing Little Liza Jane. First we did the very fundamental, basic Dulcimer tab style of playing it. And then what we did was we used bomachingas to play it to get that dance step sound. And then what we did is we started adding some other ideas to the melody to make the tune more interesting, to add some more excitement to it. And that's what we did. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.